Hello everyone, what's happening? You're here with me, Dave, on the Empire, and it is time for me to deliver my final verdict on the Xbox One X. So we've had the Xbox One X since early November 2017. During that time, I've been using it as my daily driver. You know, all of my console games that I do play on the Xbox have been going through this one. I also have the Xbox One S, which has been relegated to kind of Netflix duties in the living room, but pretty much all of my gaming is now done here. I think that 2 months in, I'm now confident enough and experienced enough with it to be able to deliver a real verdict, both for 1080p gaming and for 4K gaming on the console. So just to bring you up to speed on the console itself, the Xbox One X is Microsoft's latest and greatest flagship console. It's billed as the most powerful console available in the market, and certainly going by the stats, that looks to be the case. In case you're not familiar with it, it is an AMD-based octa-core APU, which is accelerated processing unit, a combination of CPU and graphics in a single chip. That's clocked at 2.3 gigahertz. It has a 60 compute unit GPU associated with it, which gives it 6 teraflops of processing power. You know, that's tera floating point operations per second. It's a number. And that is also combined with 12 gigabytes of GDDR5 memory, of which 9 is accessible by games on this console. All of that is wrapped up in the familiar Xbox packaging, delivered in a lovely black color, and that is combined with a 4K ultra high definition Blu-ray player, which is part of the console as well. Other things that are going on with the console internally that you may not notice up front is they've changed the heating system or cooling system on it quite dramatically. It's moved from an old top-down fan blower to a pushed air vapor chamber system. That allows the console to run quieter and obviously at higher frequencies, which it does because of its new CPU, GPU combo. And I must admit, it's really quiet. It's a really nice console to have. Certainly compared to the old Xbox One S, it's night and day. And even when you look at things like the PS4 and the PS4 Pro, this is way quieter than them, and I think that gives it a natural advantage in kind of, you know, your living room spaces or areas where you may not necessarily want like a lot of fan noise when you're trying to do stuff with a console. So I have actually been really impressed with the cooling system on this. Other things that I really like about the console, the size of it. For a start, it's, you know, it is the smallest of the consoles that I've seen. When I unboxed it back in November, I sort of slammed it next to the PS4 Pro that I had on my desk and suggested that it might be the same size. We did get some comments with people going, "Don't be ridiculous, Dave, that's nowhere near the same size as a PS4 Pro." They were right. This is considerably smaller. Also considerably heavier, I think in part due to that, you know, much beefier sort of cooling unit that is in play inside this thing. I must admit, what they've fitted inside this is quite staggering. You know, I think it's a great and subtle addition to any kind of living room entertainment unit, or of course, you know, you can even tuck it behind your monitor if you want to do some gaming and you don't have space to have this and a big ass monitor and all the other bits and bobs that you kind of need to be able to do a lot of the sort of things that are going on there. So I think that the design is an absolute triumph on this. Games wise, there's a pro and a con here, and that is that games look very nice and they run very nice, and anything that has been optimized for Xbox One X runs, you know, is designed to run at either 4K 30 or 4K 60. Or, you know, they just generally bumped up the textures and shading, and they've made it, you know, much shinier and prettier. And that's something that they can do now with, you know, consoles that are based on the same kind of processing infrastructure as desktop PCs. They can deliver those high resolution texture packs. I've played Forza Motorsport 7 on this. It was a 100 gigabyte download because of the new texture packs that came along with that game. It's massive. And that was just the base game. That doesn't even add on all your sort of, you know, your car packs and everything else that go along with it. Obviously, some games are normal, and when I say normal, I mean, you know, you get one download regardless of which console you've got. And whilst they've not been optimized, you still get a frame rate bump. You still get, you know, some of those experiences unless the developer has chosen to lock it. And now that's a very important distinction to make. Remember, just because the console can deliver a certain resolution and a certain frame rate doesn't mean you're going to get it on every game. So bear that in mind when you're picking your console. Also, whilst I'm talking about games, there's the ugly subject of exclusives. Now, you can see here PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, that is an Xbox exclusive. If you want to play PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds on console, you need an Xbox. In the same way that if you want to play Horizon Zero Dawn, you need a PS4. I think a lot of your buying decisions about your console are going to be dictated by the kind of games that you want to play. So by all means, if this is a must-have addition to your library, this is the console that you have to buy for it. And I say this, I mean the Xbox. It still runs on the Xbox One S just fine. One thing that may steer you towards the Xbox, however, is the Xbox Game Pass. Now that is like a games on demand service that you pay like 10 or 11 bucks a month for. And it actually gives you an immediate library of games. So you don't just get like the 1 or 2 games free per month that you get with either the Xbox Games for Gold or the PS4, PlayStation Plus membership. This is actually Microsoft going, here is 120 games that you can play right now. And you know, if you keep that monthly payment up, then sure, you continue to have access to those games. There might only be 5 or 10 that you want to play there, but most times it's better to get access to it for a month or 2 and really dedicate the time towards playing those games than to try and find them in a bargain bin at your local EB Games. So I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room now, which is the price of the console. $750 is your buy-in for the Xbox One X. That is a lot of money, particularly for a console. Now obviously the PlayStation 4 Pro is around the $600 to $640 mark at the moment. You can do better if you shop around, and I'm sure that you could probably find a slightly discounted Xbox One X as well if you went and had a good look. However, the cost of this console, when weighed up against its capabilities, I actually believe that it is one of the best performance value propositions generally at the moment in terms of gaming. $750 sounds like a lot for a console. It's incredibly cheap, however, for a gaming PC. If you were to try and build a $750 gaming PC, I would imagine that it wouldn't achieve anywhere near the results that the Xbox One X delivers on games that have been enhanced for it. Alright, so before I round up this video, I thought I would just go and grab the PlayStation 4 Pro that we've been sent from Sony and compare it to the Xbox One X that we were sent by Microsoft. So, as you can see, this is considerably bigger than this. If I were to pop this down and then pop the Xbox on top of it, the Xbox being plugged in of course. Now, at the back of the console, dimensionally, it looks quite similar at first glance. However, you've got about this much at the back of the console that the PlayStation has and the Xbox does not. So there's definitely a broader consideration that's been given to the design and how everything is slotted together in the Xbox, and it's really good. So normally when I wrap up my videos, I'm going to give something a rating. So in this case, I'm going to talk about the Xbox One X. This, to me, is an 8.5 out of 10. Now, I think that this is a well-built, well-designed, quiet, powerful console that would fit in either, in behind your monitor in a gaming space, or would be right at home in the middle of your TV unit doing all of your entertainment. If you've got a 4K TV, this is the better console to invest in. It is the most powerful one out there, and I do believe that games will be better optimized for it throughout 2018 and beyond. The PlayStation 4 Pro is the more affordable of the two consoles, and it does do 4K. They both do great games, and that's where my last piece comes in. Really, I honestly believe that a lot of your buying decisions around which console you go for will be more decided by whether or not your friends have them and whether or not there are games on this system that you want to play. You know, if you're going to be playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, it's the Xbox. It has to be. If you want to play Neo, or if you want to play God of War, or if you want to play The Last of Us, then it's this one. First-party games mean that if there are specific titles that you want, you are naturally going to go a certain way. I think that the Xbox One X is still a very compelling offering. It has a great games library that you can easily access thanks to its Games Pass. It's the best looking, quietest, and most powerful console that's on the market. And quite frankly, I really like the games on it. I've been playing Xbox my whole goddamn life. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. Please comment, like, subscribe. Check us out on theempire.nz. And as you were doing so well. You're doing so well. And as always, keep it here with us on The Empire. That was Dave. See ya.